Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is...
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
That is always the perfect answer. Welcome, everybody. You're like, another bonus episode? Yeah, this is to show you that I am not dressed up. This is how I come to work on a normal day. Do I do this laugh thing like Kamala Harris? I might need to, and then I go again. I'm doing it. Okay, welcome, everybody. Tyler Yonke. I just thought I'd do a quick one. Once again, just a quick show. There's some things that are just coming in, and I'm like, hey, let's just pull this out. So, didn't have court this morning. Came in a little bit early, got some things done. This is what I do. I sit here at my desk and I just work. And then if I have to go to the bathroom, I walk out the door down the hall, go to the bathroom, come back, and I don't take breaks. I have my lunch here. My wife makes it for me. And so why not take a break? Why not take a short break? Let's get things going here. And I thought I would just I talked about this yesterday about how I love to, and by the way, I hope the sound is working today. And by the way, someone's like, oh, you're like a skinny Sean. You muted half the first part of the show. Yes, perhaps. I wasn't muted. It was just the wrong mic was set. And I didn't test that. Once again, JC's in here. Oh my God. Hi, Tyler. Shannon, she's saying hi to everyone as well. To JC, let's go. Hit that like button. Yes. So we're going to start out. Jose is in the chat and he says, hit that like button. I just thought I would say this. I like to promote shows and I love Jose. He came on the show. He was one of the first big guests after Pete Quinones. He came on. We formed somewhat of a friendship. He's been on the show a few times. I've been on his show a few times. NoWayJose. Go check that show out. And then he's on Tower Gang, which I also produce. So we intermingle all the time, and he's a good guy. But he's got a few things going on, and so I thought I would play a little clip of his stuff. He's kind of morphing his show into the morning, which I think is good. This is my problem. I get up in the morning, my wife and I, we both listen to kind of a libertarian, conservative talk radio. It's called Armstrong and Getty. They're local here in Northern California, and they've been annoying me lately. They've been going for like 15 plus years or so. But they're a little bit annoying. So I need something in the morning. And so there was Raven's Timeline Cleanse. It's not really for me. The AM Wake Up Show with Steve Poinkinen is pretty good. But if Jose is going to do something like this, then I'm doing it this morning. I'm literally shaving with a Nadeau razor, and he's doing a Nadeau shaver ad. So I'm like, here we go. This is the way at least to start. I'm on the West Coast. I don't know what time he's doing that here. So I just thought I'd play a clip of Jose this morning talking about, oh, that's not Jose, but let's play this one first. I thought this is interesting. Here we go.
But what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay.
So you could work and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for
overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired.
Right.
Which means it requires more exertion. That's why we have overtime pay. So you don't take advantage of workers. But what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability.
Okay. Sorry, my mouse got stuck here. That is fantastic that she explained what overtime is, okay? But I didn't even know what context it is. That I should play this clip actually. Let's go here, because this was fascinating to me that this even was this is the open. So she was on Shannon Sharp's show. Of course, gotta do what you gotta do. She was on his show, and let's see if here we go. I'm gonna play this clip. This is how he opened the show. I thought this was fantastical in a way that is crazy about how you're going to define her. Who is this lady, right? Who is she? And then here you go. So let's take a look. This is his legit 37 seconds of the open.
She's made a career of being first. She's the first woman to serve as Attorney General, African American, Asian American.
African American, Asian American. Okay.
She's also she's been district attorney of San Francisco. She was the nation's first Indian American senator.
First Indian American senator. Now, she wasn't an African American Asian descent senator. She was an Indian, because you gotta weed that in, because someone else made that. So interesting how she's an African American Asian descent to begin with. Now suddenly she's an Indian, because you got to be the first there. So she's Indian.
She's the first woman, first black Asian American to be elected.
Now she's a black Asian American.
Elected vice president. She set the record for the most tie-breaking votes cast by a vice president.
Okay, who cares?
She's the first black.
By the way, that is important though. When you're going into election, you're like, what's a vice president do? They don't do anything. There's nothing there. Oh, now she's breaking. They tie votes, casting the votes in the Senate. So it's very important that she's been very involved in policy making, quite legitimately.
Woman, Asian American in U.S. history.
Now an Asian American
to win the presidential nomination of a major party. She's the first HBCU grad, making us proud. She's a Howard University alum. She's a member of the prestigious Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Here she is in person. Madam, he's made.
Okay, Club Shay Shay. Yeah, it was tough to watch. I couldn't really get through there. Fannie Willis RICO trial went to crap. I need to look into that, because that's the YSL thing, I think, or is this the RICO? That's not the YSL. I think are you talking about the YSL or the RICO one with Trump? No, that was the election. I think the RICO one is the YSL. That one's been going on so long. I don't know if I can even stay tuned into that. Okay. I'm going to play the three things I'm going to do today. One, talk about Jose and play a little clip here, and then encourage you to subscribe to his channel and go there and watch your morning stuff with him, because he does a lot of fantastic. Today was a little bit of a deep dive on OKC, which is just, he does such a good job. And this is where, just a comment I made on the Shannon Sharp thing yesterday, which was, I just was in there, YSL. Okay. I was in the chat, and I just made a chat on Shannon Sharp thing. I was like, ask her if the lady that she has a picture with in her book is really her grandmother, who she says is her grandmother. So Candace Owens has been going down this rabbit hole for quite some time, and had done actually exceptional work showing birth certificates, marriage certificates, this weaving, and finding out basically that Kamala, whoever, Harris, she has a book, and she has pictures of her grandmother in there. She claims it's probably the help. Her grandmother is white, maybe a little dark skinned, but actually white. And so it's fascinating. And they even had someone that grew up there in Jamaica, and they showed her a picture, and she's like, that's not her grandmother. No, that's definitely not her. So that's interesting. However, Candace has also taken some steps that I was listening to yesterday, where I'm just like, I feel like so maybe she's right, but it feels like you're subverting some of your ability to be trustworthy when you start going down other. And my point, weaving it all, I do the weave here. And weaving it back to Jose is his stuff on OKC I found to be so good, because if there's a questionable area, it's just more like innuendo. He's pointing that out and really stays with the facts. So I loved his OKC stuff. And if you're interested in that, NoWayJose, Jose Galison, as he calls himself. I think it's all made up. It is. Okay, this is just him talking a little bit about why he's changing his strategy over. I just thought this was interesting. He doesn't always talk about his family life very much. Everything's very, but here you go.
I don't know I don't remember to what extent I've told you guys stuff, to what I haven't, because I usually kind of keep. I'm not really like someone who shares a lot of personal stuff, because it's just not me. But like a week ago, my wife was having epileptic fits, and they were weirdly this time around. She was having far more nausea than normal. So like as soon as I heard the yakking sound, I was like, oh shit! Like here we go again. Like last week, my wife was in the hospital twice and had full-on grand mal seizures, which is like the full deal. And you guys are getting a little bit of a tutorial on seizures today. There's like grand mal is like what most people think of when they think of seizures. That's like the full-on, like holy shit, like they're fucking twitching and everything. You got focals, which are the little itty bitty ones. That's like the other side of the spectrum essentially of like seizures, which is like literally like people just kind of like Sometimes there's different versions of it, but like they're like blank out for a minute or something, or they're just kind of like not there. Like it's almost like their brain spaces, and not like a brain fart type thing. More than that, I don't know how to explain it better than that. And then you have partials, which like with a grand mal, like you pretty much lose your consciousness. Like so you're like out. So whereas a partial, it's partial. Like you literally probably have like partial consciousness essentially. So like, I mean, we've dealt with epilepsy for years now. My wife's had it, and usually it's not like full on grand mal, so it's not like awful. I mean, sometimes it is, and even then with the grand mals, there's different variations of how bad those are. Most time, my wife would have a grand mal. She'd have like one twitch out a little bit, for a minute or two, and then we'd get her to bed. She'd fall asleep, and she'd be fine by within an hour or two, but usually just sleep it off till the next day. They also have the post-ictal period where they're very, very out of it, like not entirely there, or sometimes not there at all. I've literally had my wife. I know one time years ago, she had a seizure while we were driving somewhere. I believe it was to our in-laws house. So I had to pull over just to be like, sure, like, hey, she's safe, pull over. That way I can tend to her. She seized and then, kind of like, okay. And then the seizure was over. And then she went to post-ictal period and then immediately was insistent on fucking like leaving the car, and like then was on the side of the road and was like, I don't know you. And I'm like, babe, come on, let's get in the car. Like we're literally hanging out near a road, and she's just like, I don't know you. And I'm like trying to like almost grab this woman and put her in a car. So like from anybody passing by, it looks like I'm like kidnapping a woman or beating my wife on the side of the road or something crazy.
Right. Good excuse.
That's what I have to deal with. That's my spice of life. But yes, essentially I came in literally as I was about to go Bro Grove, and my wife was experiencing what looked like, I believe, was probably having partial. She was still with it. Although we weren't even.
This may be a little much for the morning show. Zach Kincaid came in here and said, "Good morning, Tyler. Thank you for saying that." This may be a little too much for this show. Maybe this is a question I should be asking for the Tower Game. But what if you're in the middle of coitus and your wife seizes? How was that? And then she starts saying, "Who are you?" I don't know. Is this good? Is this bad?
Even sure if it was a seizure. We thought maybe she was having nausea or something. But it didn't take too long. But we were like concerned that she could have a grand mal seizure. So we ended up having to go to the hospital. And then she was there. We went. This was like Friday. We ended up going until like later because she has like Valium, so we kind of got her stabilized on that. But then she ran out of it, and then we ended up going to the hospital later. And this was Friday night. It was like about Friday, super duper late Friday night. We ended up going to the hospital and just got back yesterday. So sorry. This also threw off for those out there who I had said I was supposed to have somebody else on. I think last stream.
Okay. I encourage you to go check it out. What the point I'm getting at here is Jose is going to be doing morning streams. He's decided to work part-time. He's taking care of his wife more. So add kudos to him. Love, it seems like a good family man in a sense. I mean, he's putting this out there. So why not believe that's the case? So anyway, go check his show out. Support him over there so he can continue doing what he's doing. And it'll be interesting to see, Jose, because I know how this works with me. If I have time to really set things up, I can make a show click quite well with organized. So instead of, you're working all the time and you're kind of just doing this, maybe if this is more, you're forced into doing it to kind of help support or supplement your family and you're going to be home, maybe you're going to see a little bit difference here. Now, Jose could use a good producer. I know he has one on Already Dead, but that would help. If not, good luck to him either way. That would be VJJ season 2, right? I that's what I'm questioning. The league answered this. Seizure puss is okay. That we all have these questions, folks. This is what I'm interested in. Okay, so I should say I thought I started to say it here. I'm gonna do 3 things here. One is we're gonna talk about Jose, which we just did. So go check his show out. Make sure to support him. Go on over there in the mornings. I'm not going to do this every morning. I do some things here. And by the way, it's 10, start at 10:30 Pacific. That's a little late for some of you guys anyway. So it's not really morning over here. But he wanted a name of his show. He's thinking Morning Dump. It could be. Maybe help him out with that. KillTony committed a hate crime. I'm going to talk about that next. And then we're going to do one last Nick Rekieta stuff. Guy in the chat, I'm trying to remember your name here. I don't want to spoil your actual name. So shut up there. I have him. Sent me the way to get all download the documents for the Nick Rekieta stuff. So Kayla's having her omnibus yesterday. I probably all denied, I believe. April's doing hers today. Probably going to all be denied. Anyway, I like my lawyers sporting tees. This is the way it is. I don't have any client meeting. Even then, I meet clients like this. So I'm going to have pants on. Am I going to prove it? Maybe not. Yesterday, I had a coat on because it's cold all of a sudden. California. cold over here. Let's see here. Let me just go to the chat, this DM that I got here. I'm not going to say his actual name on Twitter because he didn't tell me. He says pseudo snark in the chat. He sent me some stuff. Great way to appreciate it. So I can get all the Nick stuff here as well. Okay, so I'm going to play some KillTony clips. Okay, I'm going to do just a few of them. And I think these are specific. And this is, kind of the outrage that you're seeing on the media here. Let's go. And are we going to get struck for this? Well, maybe. Fair use, though, right? I don't know. Okay, this is the first one. This one is about California. All the angst and anger that everyone had about him talking about Puerto Rico. He didn't say Puerto Ricans. He said Puerto Rico, but he can say it about California, and everyone's okay. Let's take a listen to that.
20 years in California, and I got to see California turn to absolute horrendous thing. And traveling the world, I got to see San Francisco turn into one of the most demented cities, one of the greatest downfalls I've ever seen. And that is where the other candidate worked for 2 decades. And it's absolutely wild to see. And in Texas, stuff is really, really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
Okay. Hilarious stuff. Okay, next one up, we are going to talk. This is the pile of garbage one. This is the one. Now, look, did he really trash Latinos too bad there? I don't know. I mean, who really cares? If you watch his show. By the way, I will say this. A few years ago, did I mention this yesterday? Where he had the, I think I did, where he had the Chinese guy on his show open for him, and then he comes up there and trashes him, as he does. He's a comic. And then that guy literally had the Chinese government coming after Tony the next day. If he can survive the Chinese government, he could definitely survive any Puerto Ricans coming over here.
There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay.
They're not buying it. I'm going to play this other one here. This one is Tony Hinchcliffe. This is the one where he really performs the hate crime. If you didn't think it was already, here you go.
Times we're living in. I mean, all these pointless wars. It is unbelievable what's happening right now. It is incredible. Ukraine versus Russia, Israel, it's like bad soccer games. Who even cares? What are we doing? Why is our money involved in these wars? When it comes to Israel and Palestine, we're all thinking the same thing. Settle your stuff already. Best out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors. You know the Palestinians are going to throw rock every time. But you also know the Jews have a hard time throwing that paper. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that is the hate crime. And we're going to talk about that hate crime specifically. But we got one more here. He finishes off trashing California once again. I mean, how are these people able to, what is it? What does he not think he's going to get the California vote now? How dare he?
Healthy again. Let's beat the team from California. The team from New York should beat the team from California, not only in this election, but in the World Series of Baseball, America's sport. I love you, New York. God bless New York. God bless America. Let's make it great again. I love you. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, so Tony did great. And there you go. He trashed California once again. Now, it's not working out with the California-New York thing to my dismay, because I'm a big New York Yankees fan. Nova posts in here, and yes, and Nick paid a hooker to get an illegal abortion in Jamaica. $1,000. That is crazy stuff. I just was watching Meme Copium, his whole stream about it. I think Sean did something about it. Please go there. That they are King Casino or whatever. Those guys are the ones you want to go to for the gossip. Okay, I'm not going to be doing the gossip. No, not me. I could, but they just did it much better. They have more time. I'm just going to pop in, pop out, and we're going to go. But what I wanted to say, that because I've gone over and over in this with on this show before, which is Tony Hinchcliffe. You may not know this, but I think he may have just done a hate crime. And here's the proof that I'm going to. Maybe this is, we need, as a legal scholar, we need to go down this. This is the Combat Anti-Semitism movement. These are the states. There's 37 of them that have adopted the IHRA working definition of anti-Semitism, which actually puts it that the International Holocaust Remembrance Association or something or other like that. That's they have a working definition of what anti-Semitism is, and these states have done it. And his comments about the paper and the Jews, that might have been enough to trigger a hate crime in the state of New York, who is one of the states that have upheld this, right? So let's move on from there. Let's go to the working definition, because there is a part of it here, and this is so big. This is so ridiculous. It's all these different things, and I've been over these many times. And by the way, I made a joke at one point, but I've gone now and I've started to draft it, and here's going to be my ploy. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the word Jew and replacing it with like African American. I'm taking the word Israel, replacing it with like BLM 1669, whatever that project is as well. And I'm rewriting this in the scheme of anti-black or hate crimes for speech against African Americans. But everything is as it is in here. I'm just changing a few words and making it work with that. And we are going to then present it as a fake law in California. And I want to see how many Ben Shapiro's, how many Matt Walsh's, Dennis Prager's can get all worked up about this, and see if we can snooker them into getting worked up about a fake law in California that's really just about anti-Semitism. That's my goal. Now that I just threw it out there, someone else can do it. But the only one making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as collective, such as especially but not exclusive, the way they write these things, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy, or Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. There's other things that would work in this as well, but I think that's the one that might really if someone wanted to take Tony into account for this one, that might be the one that they're looking at to show that he committed a hate crime here. This is actually specifically one of the bills that's going up to New York. New York Congressman Mike Lawler introduced Anti-Semitic Awareness Act in the wake of atrocities of October 7th, and addressed the importance of legislation, saying the amount of anti-Semitism we consistently see on college campuses is disturbing and unacceptable. The AAA is a strong step in the right direction on the front, providing Department of Education with a clear definition of anti-Semitism in order to combat this scourge on college campuses. Who here, raise your hand, is so concerned about this scourge on college campuses? I am not at all. That's where the privilege seemed to go, especially now. And specifically, remember, it was Harvard. Who's concerned about a safe space for Harvard Jews? When you say it like that, it sounds so dirty, but it's not necessarily. Only SJWs need their safe space to hide from jokes. Yeah, exactly. A Catholic priest, a rabbi, and a cowboy walking in a bar. Yeah, exactly. So that's one aspect there. Let's see here. Was there anything else I wanted? Oh yeah, let's go to this hate speech law as defined in the state of New York. This is on. Let's see if I can do this here. Maybe make it a little bigger. Hate speech law, New York, IHRA. This is just, New York, there's a legal definition of hate speech under U.S. law. However, the state has enacted laws to combat hate crimes and discrimination. The New York State Division of Human Rights, DHR, enforces fair housing laws and investigates incidents of hate, bias, or discrimination. And by the way, I'm just going back to the Kamala Harris thing, talking about like it's going to be illegal to get money for overtime. Does anybody buy that? That might be. I mean, there's so many lies that both parties put out there. The thing about I'm going to probably play this with my friend Jonathan on Friday about the comparison of the Nazis to at MSG with the Trump rally, which is so over the top. But does anybody buy that there's actually going to be somehow Trump is going to make it where Trump, the guy that wants you to, be a billionaire too, is going to somehow make it illegal for you to collect overtime? I mean, these are state and national, employment laws. It's just the dumbest thing ever. If that's where you're scaring people. Oh, good news, people. My wife just let me know that she was dismissed from jury duty. There you go. She must have used the line that she's biased against all races, not the whites. Okay, regarding the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, there you go. That's what the IHRA is. Definition of anti-Semitism. There's an ongoing debates and concern about its potential impact on free speech. Yeah, no shit. 2023, a federal judge blocked enforcement of New York's law prohibiting hate speech on social media, ruling that the measure violates the Constitution's protection of free speech. Yet, Kristi Noem, bunch of, and it's crazy when you actually look at the states. Let's see if I can find that here. I don't have it listed up here anymore. When you look at the states that actually have adopted this and haven't, it's crazy. It's like, why would California not? It seems woke, but yet here you go. A lot of the blue states haven't, and some of the red states have. Most 37. There's 13 that haven't. Ruling the measure violates the constitutional protection of free speech. Some argue that the IHRA definition, which includes contemporary examples of anti-Semitism, may include protected speech in some contexts. Almost all contexts. There was nothing I saw in there. I mean, if you're doing something, you don't need this. Yes, Dwayne says it here as a perfect statement, which is hate speech is free speech, and I hate speech because even if you kill someone, you're killing them for the fact that they are a homosexual or black or white or whatever it is, and you're going to enhance it. They're already. It's ridiculous, right? You don't need these kind of things. There was something in this person's mind for whatever reason. The lady killed her husband in the suitcase. Was it because he was Mexican? It could have done a hate crime on there, and it would have made it. Maybe she spends more time in jail. I don't know, but it's really about your thoughts, right? It's the thought crime stuff. Precogs may include some protected speech, particularly with the criticism of the state of Israel. Yes, that's what's most insane about this. 2024 House passed bipartisan Countering Anti-Semitism Act, which would establish a national coordinator to counter anti-Semitism with the White House and mandate the use of the IHRA definition in enforcing anti-discrimination rules. However, critics argue that this bill chips away at free speech and may lead to the suppression of legitimate criticisms of Israel. Yeah. New York has no legal definition of hate speech under U.S. law. The state has laws to combat hate crimes and discrimination with the DHR, enforcing fair housing. Okay, Bill A7865A 2021 requires social media networks to provide mechanisms for reporting hate speech on their platforms. This is just ridiculous. The IHRA definition of anti-Semitism is controversial and raises concerns about its potential impact on free speech. This is this Adam Sosnick. Remember we saw the other day where he's all excited about the public-private partnerships for building buildings in New York. Feel the same way when it comes to reporting about anti-Semitism online? Probably. The IHRA definition of anti-Semitism is controversial and raises concerns about potential impact on free speech. Federal judges blocked it. We said that. Okay, we're done with that. And speaking of, should Tony be brought up on hate speech, on hate crimes? I don't know. I personally don't think so. I would not be a fan of that, but I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe that's the new way that they're going to go about doing their lawfare. Okay, Nick Rekieta comes out. Remember we said this yesterday. He blocked or told Lisa Clips that he didn't want her to do his show anymore, right? And so then this person here said Nick abandoned every principle he claimed to stand for, and now he's full-blown descent into madness. But hey, fair use makes his spiral fair game, and at least he owned the haters. Because she's like, get your views now. You do not have, here's what he said, you do not have permission to clip my locals exclusive content. Take it down tomorrow or I will. I also rescind my permission to clip my content. Play fair use if you're going for it. Okay. Yeah. And I made a comment yesterday about what it is. So here's Nick's defense. No one gives a shit about principles. Okay, some people do. Not no one. They're just weapons in waiting for people who have no interest but to destroy. Is that true? I don't know. My principles were extensions of courtesy, my rights on loan to others. Okay, can you loan your rights to others? I mean, you can have someone be an agent for you. I don't know if that's your rights on loan to others. They are on loan to the government right now. I will say that actually you didn't loan them, they just took them, right? They took a lot of your rights away from you. They abused them and do not share the same principles. I owe them nothing. My buddy Andy, who has quite the handle here on Twitter. It's all a joke, people. He's not really a CEO. Intellectual property isn't property at all. You'd think Nick would know this, but apparently not. He claims to oppose the government, but wants the government to enforce a monopoly privilege on his public meltdowns. He's no better than anyone he claims to be opposing. And I just said, yeah, he'll be touting the labor theory of value next. This person, though, a little confusing. She said, or he, on her principles are the foundation of our social contract. Exactly. If that's the case, then yeah, fuck principles. Social contract. Who signed a social contract? Did you just sign that? When others engage with you, they base those interactions on the principles they observe and the principles you express. When you break or remove those foundations of building, your social network collapses. No, they don't. Most people are unaware of the principles. And okay, I not know that I'm interested in all that so much other than Nick. Where do your rights come from? And if it comes from the government, then they can take those. And the only thing that's established here with intellectual property and your copyright shit is it's a government monopoly. And if it was more than that, it would extend beyond either your lifetime or indefinite, or however this is working. But they put time limits on when it is. So somehow your ability to have these rights are time sensitive, right? That's bogus. It's stupid. So anyway, I think that's all shitty. Clip everything away. Take my whole show. Put it up there as your own. It's going to be a problem when it's not you. So there you go. We have a few other ones. Magoo came into this thing. Says, hey, face it, Kamala is dumb. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Magoo. Last thing here, and then I'm going to go. Did you guys see that Kamala and Joe Rogan, some back and forth, and she wanted to do a show, she said, but then it was, I'm only going to do the show if you come to me, and it's only for an hour. And that's, kind of what she did here with Shay Shay. And I don't know. I mean, you can sit down with an hour and talk to someone. Joe's different than if you just watch that, even watch the open there and you watch Shannon Sharp try to struggle to read his cue cards. I don't know that he's brilliant. I don't know that Joe's brilliant. Joe is just a comfortable. And by the way, you guys put on an interview. If you ever do a show and then you have someone, you've got to interview them, there's a conversation that's taking place. But sometimes it's troublesome because you want to think about the next thing you're doing, they're saying. And I think Joe has honed this ability to, he's really the, what's his name? Larry King, right? He's proudly used to say he'd never read any of their stuff, didn't do, he just had conversations. Well, sometimes his own mind was having trouble with it. But Joe does a good job of having a conversation with someone for 3 hours, poking. And sometimes, I'm sitting there and I'm like, would I be able to do this? I mean, I don't think I'm a dumbass. I don't think Shannon Sharp, he had cue cards. I don't know. I couldn't see the whole thing. I've seen some clips. It's pretty embarrassing, especially at the opening, a lot of the giggling and then stuff like that. Hate speech online. Don't watch it. No problem. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So remember, Friday, I don't think I'm going to do another one tomorrow. I do have court tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow is also Tower Gang, so I'm going to be working on that. And then Thursday, likely nothing. So Friday will come in. Still plan to have not a debate, conversation with my friend Jonathan Scriven, Dr. Jonathan Scriven, and we're going to do the election and talk about all that. So definitely tune in. I've been promoting that. I don't know why, because I'm excited about it, and partly is because he and I. He posts stuff online all the time. He's on Facebook a lot, and then he was gone. Then he does it on Twitter, and then he moves away. Maybe when I follow him around and bug him, but he loves the interaction, so he's not afraid of talking to people, and he's pretty confident in his stuff. So now he's been on Instagram a lot. And that's where I finally went back over there and said, hey, let's do a show. So we are doing a show not on Instagram, but on the elections coming up, and it should be a lot of fun. I hope so. So anyway, 3 things. 1. Go find NoWayJose. Should we find out where his NoWayJose? find out his show, check it out. Maybe that'll be your morning thing, folks, because I know that's kind of a dead time for people. So go over there. You'll learn some stuff from him. KillTony, was it a hate crime? I don't know. We'll find out, perhaps. And it'll be interesting to see if this Puerto Rican thing has anything to do with the election. I really doubt it. Since when are the Puerto Ricans controlling anything, let alone an electoral swing anywhere? Thank you. Nick has been so abused. Yeah, and by the way, we will find out some Nick stuff. I'll keep checking on that. If there is anything that pops out, like the appeals that he did, any rulings that come up there, or the omnibus for Kayla, we will go check those out. Other than that, everybody, take care. See you Friday.
Let me just caution the audience. Let's not go down this road. We've asked you to please, keep restraining yourselves, and would be helpful so we can hear the candidates, because these are important issues and the voters want and need to hear.